for the Bois Forte Band Secretary Treasurer, District 1 Representative, and District 2 Representative. The candidates all received the forum protocols outlining the format and components of tonight's event. The protocols are also available on your tables and at the back of the room. Please take a moment to review these if you haven't done so already. Following is an overview of tonight's event. Each candidate has met with me and will shortly draw their names to determine the order of opening statements. Closing statements will occur in the reverse order. All candidates may remain in the forum area during the opening and closing statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to make an opening statement and 3 minutes to make a closing statement. Lisa, our timekeeper, is seated here in the front row and will signal candidates with time cards when 1 minute remains, 3 minutes remain, or 30 seconds remain, 15 seconds remain, and when time has expired. Following the opening statements, one candidate will be escorted to the waiting room to wait for their turn to answer questions. Candidates will not be able to hear the other candidates' questions or responses. We'll also ask that you leave your phones or smartwatches out in the candidate forum room during this portion to prevent candidates from hearing questions before their time. Each candidate will receive 5 questions and they'll be invited individually to respond to those questions. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to respond to each question, and the time will begin as soon as the candidate begins speaking. Again, our timekeeper will signal to the candidates with timing cards when 1 minute remains, 30 seconds remain, 15 seconds remain, and when time has expired. You do not need to use all of your time, but you will be cut off right at 2 minutes. Once the candidate has finished answering the questions, they'll return to the waiting area while the next candidate responds. When both candidates have finished answering the question and answer section, they'll both return to the candidate forum area and will have the option to provide a closing statement. Closing statements will again be 3 minutes and will be made in reverse order of the opening statements. Our timekeeper again will alert each candidate when 1 minute remains, 30 seconds remain, 15 seconds remain, and when time expires. Candidates running for Secretary Treasurer will be going first, followed by those going for District 1 representative, and finally those running for District 2 representative. The forum will conclude promptly following the last closing statement. In fairness to everyone involved, it is vitally important to conduct ourselves in a positive and respectful manner during the forum. The following are the rules that we will adhere to. Please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices and keep usage to an absolute minimum. If you must take a call, please leave the candidate forum meeting area. Recording of any kind is prohibited. Please respect that rule. The audience will give each candidate an opportunity to be heard. This is not a community meeting and comments from the audience will not be accepted. A table for campaign materials is provided outside of the candidate forum meeting room. No campaign materials are allowed to be on display in the forum meeting area. Again, this forum is not a rally or debate. Timelines and rules will be strictly followed and the forum will end promptly as scheduled. All candidates have agreed to follow this format and the rules established for the candidate forums. I, as the moderator, have the authority to adjust the rules as needed if unexpected circumstances arise. Candidates, please keep in mind that as the moderator, I mean no disrespect if I interrupt you when your time is up. All right, miigwech. And now at this time, we'll introduce the candidates for Secretary Treasurer. We have Tara Geshick and David Morrison Sr. And we'll now draw for the order of opening statements. So we have David Morrison Sr. drawing 1 and Tara Geshick drawing 2. Candidates, you will each receive 3 minutes to make your opening statement. And at this time, we'll invite David Morrison Sr. up to give his 3-minute opening statement. You're welcome to either come to the podium or stay sitting there.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the forum for tonight. Election day is only a couple weeks away, an important day when you will go to the polls and choose the tribal candidates who will lead for the next 4 years. Over the past few months, you have heard many candidates talk about the communications and transparencies. I have used these words in my own campaign because I believe that when you put that into practice, they keep determined that the effectiveness of your tribal community for your tribal government. If elected, I will keep those words at the forefront in the performance of my duties as Secretary Treasurer. As a band member, I'm concerned that we have not met, we have not been communicated with enough information about the finances of our tribally owned businesses. In August 2025, a group of band members requested a community meeting to be held for the purpose of receiving financial reports of all the band business owns. At this meeting, band members learned that Fortune Bay did not generate a lot of money. During the previous year, 8 months later, the State of the Band held in March in 2026, band members learned that the financial presentation that at Fortune Bay at that time was still not operating the amount of money that was expected, which was stated partly due to problems with band members with cash flow. Yet, band members have yet to see a full financial report on Ishkwade operations, so I can't comment on that business. Regarding transparency, I believe that Boys Fort being a party to the 2024 ruling by the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, is big news and worthy of transparency. As band members, we should be shared the news that the ruling is a result of millions of dollars coming to the Boys Fort Band in contract support dollars from Indian Health Services. If elected, I will work to improve communications and transparency so that you are better kept informed. One solution to accomplish that will be my proposal to the Tribal Council to have regular quarterly financial meetings on all the band-owned businesses. Meetings that are open to all band members, where you are better informed and where you will have the opportunity for input. As the former Secretary Treasurer, I will bring experience and stable form of leadership style to our government. If elected, I will propose to the Tribal Council a comprehensive planning strategy to address concerns that affect and concern band membership, as well as the future. Oh, was that it? Holy moly! Last time I was done before the 3 minutes. Sorry about that.
Very good. At this time, we'll invite Tara Geshick up to give her 3-minute opening statement. Okay. Tara Indigenous Adikin Dundem, Aspiknes Agegan, Ndunjaba. Miigwech Gibijao Ma. My name is Tara. I'm from Caribou Clan. I'm from Nett Lake, and thank you for coming. I'm honored and stand before our people as a candidate and your seated Secretary Treasurer of the Boys Fort Band. My leadership has always been rooted in service, guided by our shared foundations, the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Constitution, Boys Fort Bylaws and Ethics Code, and the responsibilities entrusted to this office. I have prioritized stewardship that is transparent, accountable, focused on long-term stability for the next generations. Over the past several decades, we have taken bold, measurable steps together. I have demonstrated ongoing engagement. I have attended and spoken at 92 RTC monthly meetings, 15 MCT TEC quarterly meetings, plus numerous state and county consultations, and I've represented at every required meeting. My point is simple. I'm engaged, and I'm not silent when policy, funding, and sovereignty is at stake. We're positioning Boys Fort for strength through strategic partnerships. I've cultivated relationships with other bands, Ojibwe, Lakota, Dakota, and partners beyond Minnesota. In my experience as a former Natural Resources Director and now Secretary Treasurer, I've worked to keep pace with and stay ahead of mining interests. I've spoken up for our people and our land and waters diligently.
I've prioritized strong, prudent financial systems. We must move away from open checkbook, reactive mindset toward proactivity, auditability, and accountability. We'll continue monthly and quarterly reviews, which we do have at our TC meetings for our financials. Identify and close leaks and ensure accountability if funds are misused. The Secretary Treasurer must be versed in audit findings, profit and loss prevention, on-site audits, and fraud, embezzlement, red flags, skills that I bring and continually develop. Change is hard, and I've learned that prudent, well-paced reform yields real gains. In 2022, we began to elevate standards and we delivered. Today's leadership requires executive level financial and computer literacy, administrative rigor, and I've brought this governance acumen to this position. I've aimed to bring those qualities to the Secretary Treasurer's office, and I believe we must continue and demand them. Miigwech.
Greg, for your opening statements. It's now time to transition to the question and answer phase. We'll be following the same order as opening statements. So Tara, if you could leave your devices, your smartwatches, phones here on the table, and you can go with Shannon to the candidate room with Jessica. Rich. Yes. A bit of housekeeping while we wait. You received evaluation forms when you arrived. We'll be doing a drawing for all completed surveys that get turned in. So you can turn those surveys into Sasha and get a ticket, and we'll do a drawing at the end of the evening for a little prize bag. All right, we'll go ahead and begin our question and answer portion. For the first question, what is your understanding of the MCT Constitution?
Well, it's a constitution that was written years ago, and it's been followed by many tribal council and tribal leaders over the years. It's a document that governs the council. It also governs the Minnesota Chippewa tribe as a whole. It was placed. It has been in process since 1964, and there's been changes made over the years. But right now, there's a process that's going on by a group of band members from all 6 bands that are proposing to have changes made to the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Constitution. It's been quite a while since they've been working on it, but what will happen is when that change are being made, they'll be brought back to each of the 6 bands to vote on that issue. And once that vote is made, they will have it'll be brought to the MCT Tribal Executive Committee for a vote to approve that form that is being voted on. And once that change is made, then the Tribal Executive Committee will vote on it for the changes that will be made for the coming future of all our bands. But it's a document that has to be followed by all the tribal leaders that have been elected over the years.
What is your plan to increase gaming revenue and fix the numerous problems as you see them at Fortune Bay and all enterprises?
Well, my goal is to, once elected, to sit down with the rest of our tribal council to plan on putting a board of directors of band members that have financial responsibilities, that have business experience to help lead Fortune Bay in in the endeavors that we may see fit. I know that there should be a place in between the the businesses and the tribal government, and that would be made up of the board of directors to make the decisions that need to be made, and so the tribal government itself is not making those decisions for at that time. The businesses that are the board of directors that would be put in place would bring those issues to the tribal government, and they would go over those recommendations, and they would be voted on and put in place. But again, you know, we definitely need the board of directors to oversee all our businesses. That has to be it has to be fact, because we are losing money. I know that at Fortune Bay and Ishkade, I'm not sure how that's doing, and I know that the C store is not quite doing what it should be doing. And I think the only business that's really actually doing good is the Y store. But other than that, I think that definitely need a board of directors in place to oversee all our financial businesses.
Gwitch. Communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the Bois Forte Band, and what do you consider a success in this area? Yep. Communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the Bois Forte Band, and what do you consider a success in this area?
Again, the tribal council has monthly meetings. I know that, and those meetings are posted, and the band membership is always invited to attend those meetings. We have where we can communicate through what we have on the board, where people can Zoom, and that's a big difference from long ago. But again, you know, we have to let people know. And I know that after I got off the tribal council, I kind of lost a lot of communication, what was going on. But we as band members, no matter where we are at, if we want to get to know, we have to call and ask what's going on. And those who are elected to the tribal council should get out and allow to speak to the band members as a whole, whether it's through communication by phone. But again, you know, the band tribal councils have to let the band members know what's going on as a whole, whether it's through the radio or the website. That's just what the tribal council has to follow and allow that for band members to know what's happening and transpiring at the tribal government.
Question number 4. What are your thoughts on accepting federally recognized and First Nation blood?
When I was on the tribal council before, we proposed 2 resolutions to the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. And the first one was to accept Chippewa blood from Red Lake, Turtle Mountain, and the bands from Wisconsin and Michigan. And our second resolution was to recognize Chippewa blood from our Canadian brothers and sisters. And we didn't ever work on number 3 resolution, but that third resolution that we had considered, that we had drafted, was to recognize any Indian blood from any of the federally recognized tribes. But our first 2 resolutions was we wanted to increase the blood quantum that people had with other Chippewa tribe band or other Chippewa bands, to allow them to get that blood quantum, so it would move their family, their grandchildren, their children, to get that blood that they were entitled to. But again, you know, I'm all for recognizing any Indian blood that our band members have with tribes from the United States.
For our final question, number 5. For many years, our band members are not given access or updates about the tribe. Since both candidates had time in office, what will you do differently when it comes to financial transparency?
Again, we have to allow our band members to be able to see our financials. No, that's a big goal because they need to know that. They need to know where we are at financially, no matter if it's just with our businesses or if it's with our tribal government itself. You know, people have the right to know that, and I would be all in favor, and I know I'd be work with the tribal council that will be elected to this year, and come up with a plan of action where the band members are entitled to come in and look at the financials of the tribal council or any of our businesses.
Which at this time, we'll have you go with Shannon to the candidate room, and Tara can come up for her question and answer portion. While we wait for our candidates to switch places, I'll just share some upcoming events that I saw on the band Facebook page. Next Tuesday, there will be the CPR Community Awareness Training here in Nett from 1 to 3 p.m. That same day at the Vermilion Social Center, there will be that training from 9 to 11 a.m. So the training is free and open to the first 50 individuals. So hopefully you're able to check that out if you're interested. And of course, next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, is the Zagi Baga Powwow. Sounds like there's tons of great events that will be going on that weekend, including a walk run, a karaoke party, Ojibwe bingo, a fry bread contest. So it sounds like that will be a really beautiful weekend. And of course, the election will be taking place on Tuesday, June 9th. For those that don't know, polls will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Now, as a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question, and Lisa, our timekeeper, will be giving the time cards to help you inform. All right. For question number 1, what is your understanding of the MCT Constitution?
Is that question?
Yes.
The MCT Constitution was written by lawyers that are non-Indigenous. We have been battling that for 100 and, geez, well over 100 years. And it governs all 6 bands, and Bois Forte is one of them. They require quarterly meetings from each band member. They're based in Cass Lake, Minnesota. They have a 32-member staff. And the TEC is under there, which the secretary treasurer sits and the chair. The MCT has a 5-member board, I believe. No, I'm sorry, it's 7-member board. I'm not on that particular board. So the Constitution also says that blood quantum is deemed 1/4, and the Secretary of Interior has to approve any changes to the MCT Constitution, which we are trying to change, because I see that as unconstitutional.
Question number 2, what is your plan to increase gaming revenue and fix the numerous problems as you see them at Fortune Bay and all enterprises?
First, financial accountability. We did receive funding from CARES Act and the COVID funding. Fortune Bay had to close their doors, so that was, they couldn't generate any revenue. So I still feel that we're recovering from that. And I think that we're going to recover many years, probably at least 5 or 10 more years, because that was a huge hit in gaming revenue. They say that online gambling is coming, and we need to prepare for that. Not embrace it as much as we should, but it's coming. So we need to defend the casino, and then we need to bring more entertainment and a destination atmosphere, which we've been trying to do for a while. But we need to stop the RTG from taking so much from the casino revenue. Because they need to be able to get new items and um, provide a more better experience throughout the gaming and the hotel.
Language. For question number 3, communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the boys sport band, and what do you consider a success in this area?
First of all, always make sure that the council is a 5-member voiced system. We can't just rely on one council member to relay all the information. Everybody needs to have an input. For a long time, I've noticed that, you know, there was only 1 or 2 voices. Admittedly, someone has even said, boy, Tara, you're a little loud at each and every meeting. You speak up every single time at a council meeting. And yes, I do. I need to. So I've told the council, and I've served on several different councils coming in and out. I've had 3 chairmen already, that 1 chairwoman and 2 chairpersons that I've helped along the way. So what we need to do is make sure that our website is good and clear. Our statements that we send out are absolutely clear, that our minutes are provided on the website, and everybody gets a letter, Boy Sport News, and social media. And everything is absolutely clear. And that the council's names, address, or email address and phone numbers are available, and that we're available to the general public, to our band members.
Language. For question number 4, what are your thoughts on accepting federally recognized and First Nation blood?
What are my thoughts on it? I would love to be able to do that today. Not only band members come to me, you know, first generation, second generation do. And it hurts that I cannot provide services because of the systems that we have in place from the federal government. You got to be a quarter. You know, you got to be in quarter in order for me to listen to you. No, that shouldn't be the way it is. First Nations blood, definitely. I was researching some documents and I still have a lot left to go, but I know that we've been visiting with First Nations. We've got to be able to accept that blood quantum because that border wasn't put there by us. I don't recognize that border. When they come to our powwows here, I always acknowledge that border means nothing to me. And Lac La Croix has always had a special place in my heart, coming from Good Skies. Other bands, I know Red Lake, we've done that. But we'd like to accept a lot more, but we need the input from the people to be able to do that. And we need to make that quota of 11,000 membership rather than the 7,000 threshold that we made. So a lot of us need to be telling our relatives to vote and vote when that secretarial election comes up. And it will be very soon. I'm pushing extremely hard on the TEC level to get that done.
Language. Finally, for question 5, for many years, band members were not given access or updates about the tribe. Since both candidates have had time in office, what will you do differently when it comes to financial transparency?
Okay, this is what we did. The MCT is required quarterly. Boy sport bylaws only required 1 time a year. So there was some discussion about it. There was a little bit of confusion back in 2024. So I made that distinction at an RTC meeting, and I taught the community and everybody the distinguished between voice board and the MCT. So now it's understandable, but we also got a request. Well, why don't you just do it at voice board also? So we're doing that. Quarterly, we provide the financials at an RTC meeting. And we announce that, and it's on the agenda quarterly. What I'd like to do is maybe put that in public form and then send that out to everybody. Just a general statement and online. But one thing about financials that we really need to be careful of, we want everything out there, but look who's knocking on the door, the mining companies. And if they get a hold of our financials, you know, they're going to know exactly where they need to hit us. So we need to be really careful about who has financial history, because not everyone is serving our best interest. So I think that it needs to be 2 band members only, but we got to keep those mining companies off of our backs.
Which, at this time, we'll invite David Morrison Sr. back into the room to give closing statements. And again, as a reminder, Election Day is on Tuesday, June 9th. Like I mentioned, polls will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Voting in District 1 will take place here at the Government and Community Services Building. In District 2, voting will take place at the Vermilion Social Center. Voting will also take place at the Duluth Urban Office and at the Minneapolis American Indian Center for those folks that are based in the Twin Cities. And then our District 1 location is also the designated polling place for absentee ballot voting. And as a reminder, we will give closing statements in the reverse order that we gave them in opening statements. And each candidate will have 3 minutes to provide a closing statement. So I'll invite Tara Geshick up to give her 3-minute closing statement.
Okay. Good evening. As we close, I reaffirm my commitment to accountability, transparency, and prudent stewardship of Voice Board's finances. Our guiding documents, the Voice Board bylaws, MCT Constitution and Ethics Code, and these office responsibilities remain our North Star. We will maintain rigorous financial governance, a disciplined approach to audits, ongoing identification of risks, and a readiness to act on red flags. There is no room for a spend first mentality. We will continue to review, verify, and validate every dollar to prevent leaks and misuses. Our approach to development will remain selective, evidence-based, and community-centered. We will continue on robust documentation of every investment, 3-year projections, clear P&L statements, accurate appraisals, and thoughtful consideration of tax and land trust implementations before moving forward on projects. We celebrate progress, our cannabis initiative and other opportunities, while staying committed to building sustainable, diversified, and responsible economic developments that benefit current members and the next generations. Change can be challenging, but it's worth it when it serves the people. I'm committed to elevating the Secretary-Treasurer role with financial literacy, governance rigor, and transparent leadership. I ask for your ongoing engagement and for the generations to come. I want to read a little bit of something that I did a while back on September 4th, 2024. Discussions on council salaries. Some history is given. Proposed salaries based on Bluestone Max for compensation. 145,000 for chair, 135,000 for secretary treasurer, and 125,000 for district representatives with a cap of 200,000 for all. These are meeting minutes. Kim states that it should be in resolution as there's already a standing resolution. Tara states that until these budgets are approved, that we know where Fortune Bay and enterprises are going, that we recover from COVID, the financials, until audits are complete and implementations of new software, she votes no on any kind of council salary increase. Moved by Shane Drift, second by Robert Moyer, to table the proposal, council salary increases. That's something that I've always affirmed to, and we still haven't taken any council salaries because we haven't done the actual job that needs to get done, and we need to get it done. Thank you for your trust and for holding us to these high standards. I appreciate you all. Miigwech, and have a good night.
This time we'll invite David Morrison Sr. up to give his 3-minute closing statement.
Again, in closing, I will say that I won't make any campaign promises that can't be kept. I have told you my concerns and my visions to address them. Those of you who know understand my high ethical values, my commitment, and my responsibility to my job. A tribal leader carries high expectations to be at work every day and to be at various important meetings. When an unexpected opportunity knocks on the tribal leaders, as a tribal leader, we are there to respond on your behalf. I bring our tribal government and my leadership style to a democratic form of government where the people have a voice and allowed to have input just as their ancestors did long ago. I will bring the tribal government a proven track record of fairness, representation to all band members that isn't defined by who voted for who in the tribal elections. We need to work together and to utilize strategic planning that will put us on a proactive state of operations with a clear roadmap of where we want to be and what steps we will do to get there. One that is well thought out and will allow us to make sound decisions on your behalf. I'm ready and eager to work on your behalf. Good luck to all the candidates in the upcoming election and all the band members. Please remember to vote in the upcoming election. Keep in mind that 1 or 2 votes can and has made a difference in the outcome of an election. I mean, which to all of you and have a safe drive home. And I just want to wish all the candidates good luck. And I know that you as running for tribal office will do a good job no matter who is elected. Thank you again.
Miigwech to our candidates for Secretary Treasurer. At this time, we'll invite the candidates up for District 1 Representative. Yeah, you can use that one if you want. All right, at this time, I'll introduce the candidates for District 1 Representative. We have Shane Drift and Mildred Holmes. We'll go ahead and draw for We had Shane Drift drawing number 1 and Mildred Holmes drawing 2. As a reminder, candidates, you will each receive 3 minutes to make your opening statements. So at this time, I'll introduce Shane Drift to make his 3-minute opening statement.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Aha. Bonjour. Esquire Sange Bebama sa Geshick na cause. Asabi ko na sa akin igin ng doon sa ba. Adik ng doon dam. Nanamit na nanan. Nibi mo na gez. Bongi atago. Ninata anish na be mo wen. The men went down ayan ama. It is good to see everybody here this evening. Thank you for coming out. Thank you to Karina for the delicious dinner. I'd like to say chibi to you, the Boys White band members, for electing me as the District 1 representative in 2018 and 2022. We have made a lot of progress together. We can watch our tribal elections live. We have a resolution in place that calls for any new business venture to be put before you, the Boys White band members, to give you a voice, a say in our future. The Y Store loan is paid off ahead of schedule. The Y Store land is being placed into trust. I will continue to protect the 1854 treaty area, the wild rice on and off the reservation. There's a new dam in place that protects our lake and our wild rice. We have quarterly financial updates during regular RTC meeting. When anything is done regarding tribal council members' salaries, it must be done in open session for you, the band members, to see and hear and ask questions. The tribal government continues to build a financial reserve. Our Health and Human Services has a healthy financial reserve. We got rid of Kemper Sports and Wheel-I Radio that have been a financial deadweight on our casino. We have a new DNR building, Bigwood Transit building being built. We have the Vermilion Public Works building. We have the food shelf. We have made a lot of progress together. I sincerely hope that you, the Boys White band members, will place your trust in me like you did in 2018 and 2022. I take my job duties and responsibilities as a District 1 representative very seriously. Mio, miigwech.
At this time, we'll invite Mildred Holmes up to give her 3-minute opening statement.
Well, that's a good thing I didn't write a 3-minute speech. Anin, Niganabi, condition cost, Makwa du dame, Ogichidakwe, Asabi Kone, Sagai Ganing, and Dunchaba. Nimin Wayne Dan, Wabamin Nan, Nis Ingosi Sug, Anukiwin An, Minwainen, Mildred Holmes, Bear Clan, Jingle Just Dancer of the Boys White Band of Chippewa from Nett Lake. I have 2 sons, both of whom I'm
proud to have loved for all of their lives. My parents were Marjorie Wakema Holmes and Axel Holmes Sr. My grandparents were John and Mabel Soraz Wakema of Boys Fort Band, and Henry and Rachel Chase Holmes of the St. Croix Band. I also know who my great grandparents were, all four sets. I filed for District 1 representative because of my interest in what happens with the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Constitution and the convention, reform convention. For the effects that it's going to have on all of us, I've served on that MCT Constitutional Reform Committee as a delegate since 2018. I've attended TEC meetings as the Boys Fort delegate representative to the TEC from the delegates. And I've worked with many of the delegates from all different reservations. We've also worked with some of the Sioux tribes. I mentioned my sons liking their jobs because I believe it's an important aspect of providing for oneself, of believing in oneself. And I'm a jingle dress dancer because it's an integral part of me, who I am, my belief system, and my chosen place in the world. And I'm asking for your vote in the upcoming election. Miigwech.
Which for your opening statements. It is now time to transition to the question and answer phase. We'll follow the same order as opening statements. So Mildred, if you would please go with Shannon to go to the candidate room while Shane answers his questions. And as a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Along with candidate forum moderation, Native Governance Center also offers programs in tribal finance, community engagement, and leadership development. We also have a number of free webinars and digital resources available on our website at nativegov.org. I know our latest activity was with our leadership development program, and our rebuilders traveled to Standing Rock to learn about how health really is an integral part of the well-being of our nations. Right, and at this time, we'll begin our question and answer portion. For the first question, why do you want to be the District 1 representative?
Why do I want to be the District 1 representative? Number one is that our work isn't done yet. We still have a lot to do. I still have a lot to do. To work on securing a better financial future for all of us, not just a certain few. Cannabis is going to be the game changer for this tribe. The days of relying on our casino for funding doesn't look so good as we go on and on. We need to get into the cannabis business quickly. That's why I've been pushing so hard since I've been on tribal council when we first met with Bluestone, because I could see what was coming. That's why I pushed to get rid of Kemper Sports and WELY Radio. They were financial burdens on our casino. And now that since they're gone, we're starting to see our businesses are starting to run better. We need to make good financial sound business decisions. And with that resolution in place, that gives you guys, the band members, a voice. And I hope that whoever's on tribal council after June 9th continues to honor that resolution, because that resolution was put in place for you guys, for your benefit, not mine. And it was great that the tribal council at that time approve that resolution. You know,
I'm going to take one moment. I think Millie's phone is going off. Sasha, will you come grab? For question number 2, what is your priority project or issue?
what are my priority projects? Number one, like I said, branching off from cannabis, because that's going to be the huge game changer. The other one is I posted about this back in 2022, 2023, and following Red Lake's lead on what they did with their embassy down in the Twin Cities. And I brought that up to the tribal council at that time, is that we as Boys Fort need to follow suit on a smaller scale, providing billable services to our band members down there, down in the Twin Cities, also in Duluth. And I reposted that post a couple days ago. With that, the reason why I say billable services so that it doesn't become a financial hardship on the tribe, and meaning that if it becomes self-sustaining, that then the band members will get that service in the Twin Cities, also in Duluth. And here at home, with the cannabis business, I'm all in favor of providing payments to our band members underneath the IRS general welfare rule. And I'm also in favor of Boys Fort taking part in the helium deal that's by Babbitt, and also providing helium payments to the band members underneath the general welfare rule under the IRS. Because I hear it so many times when I'm off the reservation that they don't get much help from the tribe. Well, the reason why is because the tribe is struggling itself. So with that, we need to be better off, make better sound decisions with our businesses. Like the gas station in Evelyn, that would have been a huge burden on Fortune Bay. And at first I was for it, but when I found out that it was moved, I voted against it. Thank you.
Question number 3, what are your top 3 strengths and weaknesses, and how will those help you lead Boys Fort?
Could you repeat the question?
What are your top 3 strengths and weaknesses, and how will those help you lead Boys Fort?
Top 3 strengths. Number 1 is that I have the experience. I've been in office since 2018. Number 2, anytime band members bring something up to me or to my attention, I bring it up, I address it. Number 3, I'm not scared to stand alone on issues. I voted in solidarity with the council. I've been outvoted, and I stood alone on issues, regardless. And I'm not scared to be in opposition with the council. I don't give in to threats, intimidation, bullying, or pressure. Because that way, if I did give into that, I wouldn't be making the decisions that I'm making. And to me, that doesn't serve our best interest as a tribe. My 3 weaknesses is I didn't continue on with my education. I only have a 2-year degree. I still have more experience that I need. And number 3, I need to become more fluent in a language. Because if I keep pushing the language, I myself need to become more fluent in the language, the culture, the traditions. Neil, thank you.
Question number 4, communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the Boys Fort band, and what do you consider a success in this area?
Communication, number 1 is and I've expressed this before with past councils, is that no one council member should be directing a director to do this or that. That the director should have the availability to email the rest of the tribal council asking, is this what you want? because no individual council member has that authority. And that's the way I feel, and that's the way I believe. As for communication, we need to really streamline it and find out what the problem is. When a tribal council says something or puts something out there, it doesn't flow down the way it should. And sometimes the issues at the bottom don't flow up the way it should. That's why myself, I have an open door policy, because I want to hear the problems and issues from the employees and band members firsthand. I don't want to hear it from this person or this person or this person. By the time I hear it, it's bent out of shape. It's not what actually was said or what happened. And it's so easy to put stuff in the Moccasin Telegraph. And we have band members that are mad at each other over something that was said, which probably wasn't really said. I've been in that predicament myself as a tribal leader, where I had band members mad at me for something I said when I never even said it. And years later, come up and ask me and talk to me about it, and I tell them. So I think that, with that, it needs to be addressed from the tribal council to our employees to the community. Because with that, with the lack of communication and understanding, that only hinders us as a tribe, as people, to move forward in a good and positive way. Neil, Miigwech.
Question number 5. What have you accomplished or achieved in the last 4 years, either as a team or individually?
What have I achieved in the last 4 years as an individual or as a team? Number one, I pushed for Uskade. When we had that meeting and regarding our growing facility, and it was told to us it was going to be about $7 to $8 million, I told the council at the time, we don't have that kind of money. Why don't we buy a dispensary, contract with one of the other reservations to supply us? Sure enough, that's what the council did. Now we have Uskade. Now I'm pushing for another dispensary to be placed off the reservation to follow that same ideal with what we did with Uskade, because we can't sit still. The cannabis market is always growing, and more people are coming on board. And as a team, we got the Big Woods Transit building out there coming up. We got the food shelf. We got the one over in Vermilion. We got the new DNR building coming up. And that took teamwork. People coming forth, our staff coming forth and making proposals and meetings. And I think that's the key thing, though, is that if we can put our differences aside, our last names aside, and truly come together and make decisions as people rather than political enemies and holding grudges, that doesn't serve our best interest as a band, as people. Because when we're dead and gone, what we did or didn't do is going to be left for our children to deal with. And that'll be on us. Neil, Miigwech.
Miigwech. At this time, we'll ask that you go with Shannon to the candidate room while Mildred answers her Q&A questions. Miigwech. And again, a bit of housekeeping as our candidates are moving. There were surveys that were given to you in the packet, so if you could please complete those. We'll turn those in. We'll have a drawing at the end of the evening. And then as a reminder of some upcoming events in the community, next Tuesday on May 26th, there'll be a CPR community awareness training here in Nett Lake from 1 to 3 p.m. Earlier that day, there'll be a session from 9 to 11 a.m. in the Vermilion Social Center. The training is free and is open to the first 50 individuals. And then, of course, next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, is the Zagi Baga Powwow with lots of great events going on throughout the weekend, including a walk run, karaoke party, Ojibwe bingo, a fry bread contest, and more. So it should be a wonderful weekend with some beautiful weather to kick off the summer season. And then as a reminder, of course, the election will take place on Tuesday, June 9th, with polls opening at 8 a.m. and closing at 8 p.m. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. For question 1, why do you want to be the District 1 representative?
I hit it. Because, like I said, the Minnesota Constitutional Reform Committee, we really need to get that document, either fixed, replaced, or something, especially with the current, administration in the White House. I think as it stands now, we aren't going to be able to get rid of the Secretary of the Interior. We should have done it when Deb Haaland was in there. But because what I think they're trying to do is abrogate the treaties. And I think I can do a lot more to help stop that kind of stuff.
For question number 2, what is your priority project or issue?
The Minnesota constitutional reform. um, it's kind of become almost a passion kind of thing, because so much of our life is affected by our treaties, by our constitutions. And the other major part of that is the enrollment question. I think that needs to be settled, because I do know that there people are putting out there that the blood quantum was set by the white man to make us disappear. But my mom told me when they were first talking about that, my mom told me that that isn't what that fraction means. That fraction actually means it's a genealogical way of telling that bottom number is generations. That top number is how many people in that generation are. So if you're one half, one of your 2 parents is either white or Indian, whatever it is you're doing. So you can have like a 1932, because you have 32 of all your ancestors, 19 of them can be Indian or 19 can be white. So that is kind of some of the things. When my mom said that, I really took an interest in genealogy, and I do now have, for my family history is 10 generations. So those are kind of my pet projects.
Great. For question number 3, what are your top 3 strengths and weaknesses, and how will those help you lead Boys Fort?
Well, top 3 strengths. I write. I do a lot of writing. I can do nonfiction, fiction. I also do like poetry. I can get ideas across better in words than I can orally. So I guess that's a weakness, because I'm one of the ones that when something is said, I go down the road 10 minutes, 10 miles later and say, oh, I should have said this. So that's one of my weaknesses. I'm sure I could think of some more, but I think I'm going to be running out of time here. So a couple other strengths that I have, and I think this is the greatest strength that I do have, is my faith in my creator. And that has allowed me to live the good red road for over half of my life now. And I've also been able to raise my kids where they don't, they follow the red road, but they don't drink, smoke, and they take care of themselves, take care of me. Was that the 30 seconds? I don't know. Oh, I go to Paula's Salon. I dance. Um, let's see. I guess that's all I'll say for now.
Mingwich.
I'm getting too nervous.
For question number 4, communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the voice sport band? And what do you consider a success in this area?
Communication. Well, actually, in my opinion, the best communication is what we used to call the Morrison telegraph. It's word of mouth, person to person. That's the best way to communicate with other people that different things that we're doing. And we used to have runners around the village that would go around to tell everybody when there was going to be a meeting with all this and that. But we've lost some of that with some of the influences that have kind of messed up our lifestyles. My plan, what I would like to see is more of they have a program here, Generation to Generation, I think it's called, where you we have more than one generation in one room learning, like the beading classes and the sewing classes is where we learned a lot. We would listen to the people talking as we were doing things. So I kind of would like to see more of that kind of events.
Mingwich. And for our final question, number 5, what have you accomplished or achieved in the last 4 years, either as a team or individually?
I've opened my own business and it's based on my writing. I write nonfiction. I've had short stories published in Germany. I've had other short stories starting to be published here in Minnesota. And I have more, um, mentors, and I do mentor other people. And that's part of one of the things that I want to do if I make it into office, is to start up more where people can open their own business. I mean, it might take a while for them to start earning money, but I don't want them so dependent on the tribal government to pay them money. They can go earn their own money. I did. And I do know, as I've heard people have asked me, they think that I went and got my new truck just before I even get elected, but it's my business that got me that truck. So I kind of want to be a role model to people that they put their minds to it, they can get it too. They don't need to have help from a government. They just can do it themselves. I'm done.
All right, Mingwich. This time we'll invite Shane to come back into the room so that we can do the closing statements. And as a bit of housekeeping again, if you did complete your survey, you can turn those into Sasha and get a raffle ticket. We'll do the drawing at the end of the forum. And as a reminder, the closing statements will again have 3 minutes to complete those, and we'll go in the reverse order from the opening statements. So I'll invite Mildred Holmes up to give her 3-minute closing statement.
Well, it's not going to be 3 minutes, so. My hope for the future of the Boy Sport Band, all members and their families, wherever they may be enrolled, is that we stand together in overcoming obstacles to our unity as a tribe. One way is to allow the ones who didn't have a chance to learn our ways, our history, and our language is to let them learn it without like how we grew up. We have I still kind of carry a fear of ridicule for trying to speak my language or trying to learn something. I was always teased about it, and so I kind of want to encourage people to keep allowing people to learn, especially if they were adopted out or if for some reason didn't get a chance to learn with their families like they should have. And as for the rest of us, there's always something more to learn. I do my best by sharing the little bit that I know. And I teach culture classes. I've taught my family. And I'm a pretty good role model when I go to, I'm at powwows. I encourage people to dance, to do what they want to do out on the floor, as far as dancing goes. And then the other thing is my concern for the elders and the limbo that we seem to have landed in is one I dearly want to address. I want to see everybody, all our elders, having those activities to go to. We were starting to travel from reservation to reservation. I would like to see more of that and they brought people up here, and I guided one of those tours. And so that's some of the kind of stuff that I would like to do. And we didn't always ask the RTC to pay for everything either. So we did a lot of the fundraising ourselves. And I've worked with elders since I was raising my own kids. And I promised it was not going to be 3 minutes, so 10 seconds left. See.
At this time, we'll invite Shane Drift up to give his 3-minute closing statement.
First off, I'd like to say thank you to the Native Governance Center for putting on the 2026 candidate forum. With that, if I'm reelected as the District 1 representative, I will continue to push to increase our services for band members in the Duluth area as well as the Twin Cities area. I am in strong support of holding tribal council meetings in the Duluth and Twin Cities areas as well. I will push to continue funding for the 1866 treaty research. I will continue to push to get our sacred sites listed and protected within the 1854 and 1866 treaty area. I will continue to push for the language, culture, and traditions, and also a roundhouse here at Nett Lake. I will continue to push for another increase to our 1854 treaty payments. I will continue to push for Boys Fort to be part of the helium deal. We have a community meeting coming up on June 17, 2026 regarding a cannabis growing facility. This is going to be a huge game changer for us, regardless of the elections. If it's done right, it will be a huge game changer, not only for us, but future generations. Our rules, policies, and resolutions are only as good as the tribal council that truly follows them, upholds them, and enforces them, regardless of who violates them. I will continue asking questions during regular meetings, in executive session, during tribal consultations, meetings with the governor. Anything that you, the Voice Word band member, bring to my attention, I will address it. Any ideas, thoughts, or suggestions you bring to me, I will continue to bring it up. So, if you, the Voice Word band members, elect me as the District 1 representative on Tuesday, June 9, 2026, I will not be a puppet. I will not stick my head in the sand. I will not look the other way or just follow the crowd for the sake of following the crowd. I will not bend the rules, policies, or resolutions for anyone or anybody. I will continue to speak up for band members, employees, and our tribal businesses and our future. I will continue doing business the same way that I've been doing the last 8 years. In closing, I take my job duties as a District 1 representative very seriously. I'd like to say Chimigut to you, the Voice Word band members, for giving me the opportunity to serve you as a District 1 representative over the last 8 years. It has truly been an honor and privilege serving you. Please remember to vote Shane Drift on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Mio, miigwech.
Miigwech to our candidates for District 1 representative. At this time, you may return to your seats. And at this time, we'll invite the candidates for District 2 representative up. And at this time, I'll introduce the candidates for District 2 representative. We have Robert Moyer and Alanna Sherman. So go ahead and have them draw for speaking. Alanna drew number 1 and Robert drew number 2. As a reminder, candidates, you will each receive 3 minutes to make your opening statements. So at this time, I'll introduce Alanna to give her 3-minute opening statement.
Hello. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Alanna Sherman, and I am running for District 2 representative. I grew up in Nett Lake, and I've called the Vermilion Reservation my home for almost 18 years now. I have 3 beautiful children and a husband who just got hired on to help with fires and EMR for Greenwood. So We're very proud of him for that. Throughout my career, ever since I've been started working, I've had a lot of opportunity to work in both our tribal government and enterprise operations. Those experiences have shown the importance of communication, accountability, teamwork, and supporting our people to help keep the community and business moving every day. If elected, some of my first priorities would be improving communications and transparency, holding regular community meetings, supporting stronger workplaces and businesses, and continuing conversations with our elders, youth, employees, and families on what they want to see improved within our Boys Fort tribe. I do not claim to know I have all the answers. I'm far from that. But I know that I am willing to listen and learn and keep having these conversations and seeing what really matters to us as a team, us as a tribe, as for Boys Fort. So that for me, that's really why I'm running. I want to create something that is going to be better for my kids when it's my turn to leave. So thank you.
Which, as a reminder, please silence all cell phones and devices. And at this time, we'll invite Robert Moyer up to give his 3-minute opening statement.
Hello, my name is Robert Moyer Jr. My parents were Robert Moyer and my mother was Caroline Boger. She was a Boger Masabi from Vermilion, and I grew up in International Falls, but have been coming to the reservation my whole life between Nett Lake and Vermilion, with having family on both sides. My Auntie Ruth Ann lived just over here at Strong Landing, and all my other uncles and aunties lived over in Vermilion. So I've been frequently coming to these two areas my whole life. And I've lived the last 20 years or so in Vermilion because my mom moved back. When my mom moved back, us 4 kids seemed to follow her, which has been something great for all of us. We all make our homes there, and it's done very well for us. So I am forever, ever thankful for being a Boys Fort band member and having the opportunity to just come home and make this my home. But it has been an honor to have served in this position for the last 4 years. I've learned a lot, and I believe I can accomplish much more. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote for re-election in this upcoming general election on June 9th. I will remain committed to strong relationships with our federal, state, local, and tribal governments, including our First Nation relatives. Carlos, our chairman, had a great little meeting in Washington just recently that I wasn't able to partake, but I really wanted to go. I just couldn't for some reasons that are, just wasn't feeling well. But doing that and protecting our sovereignty, bringing resources to our people, ensure the voice of Boys Fort is respected at every level. I'm hopeful for the future and will continue working on bringing forward an equal representation for all our members through advocating for an at-large position. Thank you to all, and please get out and vote on June 9th. Thank you. Be good.
Mingwich for your opening statements. It's now time to transition to the Q&A portion of the event. We'll follow the same order as the opening statements. Candidates not speaking will be sequestered during the Q&A. If you could please leave your phones or other smart devices on the table, and then we'll ask Shannon and Jessica to escort you to the candidate room. As a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. And a little bit of housekeeping, there's plenty of desserts left, so please don't be shy and help yourself to a few Rice Krispie treats to take home. The meal was incredible, so miigwech again to Karina Lyons for yeah, that wonderful meal. All right, for question 1, what have you achieved or accomplished in the last 4 years, either as a team or individually?
Does it matter talking about whatever kind of scenario?
However you'd like to interpret it. Yep.
I think what I would like to use is probably my most recent, I guess, achievement. So when I got hired onto Giants Ridge in the department, it's sales and banquets. A lot of the things that I noticed going into the position, there they were lacking some, documents, uh, policies, procedures, kind of starting not at the bottom, but close to it. So one of our goals that we started with me and the other lady that I worked with is we got a lot of those cleaned up. And with that, I feel like that helped us create better customer service because we actually had more of our SOPs in place. We had some, checklists that we needed to get done for every event, which, wasn't really utilized in the beginning. So with that, it does make every event go smoother. It makes the workers understand the communication and what they have to do. And then from there, it's all around, I view it as all around good work because not only is your staff happy, but you're also happy, you're leaving your client happy as well.
Great. Question number 2. What is your understanding of the 1866 treaty?
The 1866. That one I don't remember a whole lot of. During my time in enrollment, I worked a lot with the 1941 base roll, and then worked a lot with 68, I believe it was. There was a few other ones that I worked with, and I can't remember. It's been so long. So for that, with that question, even though I don't think that I have the right answer, but it's something that I definitely need to look into again and refresh my memory on.
For question 3, what is your priority project or issue?
What would it be if I was elected and be my first?
What is
Okay.
your priority project or issue?
Okay, my priority project, I think, and for my first year, I wanted to be realistic. And so what I want to do for my first year, if I'm elected, is I want to hold community meetings. I believe in these meetings, a lot can be discussed, resources, new members. When we have new members move to the area, sometimes we don't know who they are, when they moved here, where they're at. And, that's something that as a community, we should know. We should know who our neighbors are. We should lend them a hand if they need be. If they're new to the area, let them know what kind of resources they're eligible for. So for my first year, definitely my first goal would be to hold my community meetings, invite everybody, figure out as a community, what would be our goal? What do we want to see as a community? Because I truly believe that me running and me being elected is not about what I want, it's about what the people want. So my goal is to listen and meet with everybody, figure out where we want to go as a tribe and figure out how we're going to get to that goal. But I also, I want to be realistic with it, knowing that I have 4 years.
Great. For question number 4, communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the Boy Sport Band? And what do you consider a success in this area?
I think circling back to communication, yes, that's, going out and talking with band members, that's also the main thing is just communication. And in my eyes, I feel that communication really shouldn't be an issue when we have all sorts of avenues that we can utilize. It's just getting there and being consistent and getting out that information as well. So I think it's more of just figuring out where we can come together and meet and figure out that goal. And so like what I said about the community meetings, when they're consistent, you're gonna get the consistent information. That would be back and forth, something that I can bring to the table, something somebody else can bring to the table. So with that, getting everybody into a room and, some people might not want to be in the room. They can be on Zoom or Teams or anything. Like I said, there really is no boundaries that we have when it comes to communication.
Language. For final question, number 5, there is a growing number of homeless individuals. What services would you initiate to help this population?
Can you say that first word again?
Yeah. There's a growing number of homeless individuals. What services would you initiate to help this population?
So what I think of issues, like what I do is I think of it, okay, we have an issue. Why do we have this issue? What can we do for this issue? It's kind of pulling back, seeing where we can go, because sometimes starting from the bottom and working it way back up could be help, viewing things from a different perspective. So with I guess my thoughts on it would be, I would like to see, what do they need? Is it mental health services? Is it substance abuse services? We don't know exactly what everybody is going through. So again, reaching out to everybody, seeing what they actually need and having those conversations to see, what could we be doing more down there? We just can't go and, like I said, I don't have all the answers. I can't go and say, hey, we're going to do this for you, because I don't know if that's what that band member needs. So for me, my thing is I want to get all the information, bring that back, and then we can make a better decision going forward.
Language. At this time, we'll have you go with Shannon to the candidate room. If you could leave all your devices, smartwatches and phones, either, at your seat or up here on the table.
Okay.
Just kidding. Uh, There will be a community event on Memorial Day to honor veterans. This event will take place at the Veterans Memorial at 10 a.m. There'll be light snacks provided, so encouraging folks to come together and recognize and honor our veterans. And a reminder for elections, again, taking place on Tuesday, June 9th. Polls will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Voting will take place at the Community and Government Services Building for District 1, for District 2 at the Vermilion Social Center, at the Duluth Urban Office for those members in Duluth, at the Minneapolis American Indian Center for those folks in the Twin Cities, and then District 1 is the designated polling place for absentee voting. And as a reminder, you'll receive 5 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. For the first question, what have you achieved or accomplished in the last 4 years, either as a team or individually?
I think one of the biggest things is getting Ishkade moving and doing very well for what it got brought into, and the difficulties of getting product and maintaining product on the shelves. And I know it's been quite a job for them over there, Paxton, and the people that are working for Ishkade, but I'm very proud of what they've done, and I think that's probably the best thing going right now for us, and probably going to be really good for our future. Thank you.
Great. Question number 2. What is your understanding of the 1866 treaty?
Um, with with the new like with lawyers and everybody reading into the treaty that was signed for 1866, it was kind of to me it kind of was seems like was Bois Fort protecting the lands on this side of what is now the 1854 treaty. I think the 1866 treaty brought us our reservation here in Nett Lake, but it moved us out of our 1854 treaty in Vermilion, which is kind of a sore spot in my book with the mines and everything. But it's like I know what the mines are here for and what they're trying to do. It's that's just I'm just here wanting to protect what these treaties were meant to do, and that's to help us sustain and keep a living and be able to survive for the rest of our lives. And I swear that's what our forefathers tried to do. Thank you.
Question number 3. What is your priority project or issue?
I think one of the biggest priorities is just making everybody feel equal. I mean, I feel it's just sometimes difficult having uh, one voice from Vermilion. Just having extra representation for us as citizens to be equal and compared to the same as Nett Lake, and it just would get all the band members, everybody that equal vote, trying to get in that large position instead of having 2 District 2s. I'm not trying to take anything away from Nett Lake. I'm just trying to make everything equal for all of us. That's all. Thanks.
Question 4. Communication is always a hot topic. What is your detailed step-by-step plan to address this issue across the Bois Fort Band, and what do you consider a success in this area?
I think just leading by example, trying to be able to answer your phone when possible. Sometimes it takes, a few hours or, a day. I mean, just reach out and I swear we're going to try to answer, and that'll be my main goal, is just making sure to keep up the communication and just talking to everybody and just trying to respect each other and know that we're all trying to do the same thing, which is doing what's best for Bois Fort and all our members. Thank you.
Your final question, number 5. There is a growing number of homeless individuals. What services would you initiate to help this population?
I think there's a lot of services that have been come to fruition over the last few years with help and rents paid, bills being paid, utilities being paid, but the money isn't always going to be there. And I know the state did did put more money towards some of the homeless stuff and everything. And I've been to Homeless Day on the Hill advocating for as much as possible, because we see everything that's happening down there and everywhere around, but everybody just needs help. And, that's just going to keep advocating for that. Thank you.
Language. At this time, we'll invite Alanna back in to give their closing statements. Again, just a reminder, if you haven't, please turn your survey into Sasha to get a raffle ticket. We'll do a drawing at the end of the evening. Just a reminder on a couple of upcoming community events on Tuesday, May 26th. There'll be a CPR community awareness training from 9 to 11 at the Vermilion Social Center, and then from 1 to 3 here in Nett Lake. The training's free and open to the first 50 individuals. And then next weekend, June 5th through the 7th, is the Zagi Baga Powwow with lots of great events occurring throughout the weekend, including a walk run, karaoke party, Ojibwe bingo, a fry bread contest, and more. And as a reminder, if you'd like to learn more about Native Governance Center or check out some of our other resources, we are available at www.nativegov.org, or you can follow us on Facebook at Native Governance Center or on Instagram at NativeGov. And as a reminder, we'll do closing statements in the reverse order as opening statements and the question and answer. Candidates will have 3 minutes to give their closing statement. So I'll invite Robert Moyer up to give his 3-minute closing statement.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming here, Native Governance Center for running this and putting this on for people to, get to know all the candidates and everything, So I'd just like to wish everybody good luck. We got Dave, Tara, Shane, Millie, Alanna, and I, please, just get out and vote on June 9th. We're all here trying to do our best for the band and, just do what's best, do what you think is best and get out and vote. Thanks again all for coming. Have a good night.
Invite Alanna Sherman up to give her 3-minute closing statement.
Okay. So for my closing statement, mine is a little shorter. So, first of all, thank you for everybody coming out and letting us, each of us, talk about our views and, why we would want to run. In closing, no matter the outcome of the election, I want the community to continue having conversations with our elected leaders. Keep letting them know, what's working, what's not working. Because I believe that without letting anybody know, nothing is going to change or get better. So with that, remember June 9th is voting day. Please get out. It's very important. That's the best way to get your voice heard. Your vote matters. So please don't think that it doesn't, because it truly does. And again, thank you all for coming out, and I will see you all on June 9th. Thank you.
Miigwech. With that, this concludes the candidate forum. I'd like to thank the candidates, the audience for participating, for Karina Lyons, for the incredible catering, and overall just your respect of the protocols this evening. It's been an honor and a privilege to learn more about the candidates' thoughts, values, and visions for the Boys Fort Band of Chippewa. So if you haven't already, please submit your surveys to Sasha to get your raffle tickets. We'll do our drawing shortly, and please be sure to grab some food to take home with you. And miigwech.